Michael Kiely is Head of Digital Animation at the Clonmel Digital Campus here in Clonmel. He spoke to me about the rebranding of LIT Clonmel in the context of the Design Clonmel Festival, which takes place from the 21st to the 31st of October. As the college evolves into its new identity, we also take a look at the wide range of opportunities available in the digital arts area in terms of employment. What's your take on the changes that have been implemented in here? The place is evolving into something different.
Okay, well, yeah, the campus in Clonmel, it has changed. It has become part of the art college within the last 6 or 7 years, and that has gradually started to impact kind of the courses and the course offerings that we have. Some of it comes from being part of the art school, and some of it is actually sort of natural outgrowth from the original creative multimedia degree, because we found people that were doing creative multimedia but had a very specific focus on, say, animation. Other people had a focus on, like, web design. Other people had a focus on games. So we sort of decided that it was a good idea to make specialised courses that could compete sort of nationally or internationally by branching out into a full animation course, an animation BSc in its own right. And then after that we followed up with a game art and design 4-year degree in its own right. We kept our original multimedia degree. We've revamped it a little bit. It's more sort of web focused now than it used to be before, or interactive media to a certain extent as well. Again, because it's an art college, we still have that, that connection has kind of influenced the courses. And starting next September, we actually have a Bachelor of Science in Visual Effects for television and film.
That's a huge thing now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a big thing. But it's because there isn't one in Ireland. There's not a dedicated visual effects degree in Ireland, and we have staff who have worked on Hollywood features, so they've been kind of waiting to get to do this. It takes a little bit of time for the wheels to turn in the academic world to actually get everything verified and ratified and written. So that'll be starting next September, which will be very interesting. So it'll sort of broaden things a little bit as well. And within the Limerick School of Art and Design, which Clonmel is part of, we're sort of specialised in the digital media field specifically. So we don't have anything in tradition in terms of fine art, although we are still thinking about it. So we're focusing specifically on kind of digital media. So our animation course is almost completely digital. Our obviously multimedia is largely a digital prospect these days. Game art and design is digital and visual effects, obviously.
Yeah.
So we've sort of taken that sort of specialised area within the arts and digital media field specifically. Although we do collaborate a little bit with some of the courses in Limerick just on specific projects.
So the fashion students specifically, isn't it?
Yeah, fashion knitwear in particular. So something you consider as very traditional, which of course it isn't. That has modernised a huge amount as well. I would do projects with my animation students as sort of kind of promotional and branding for those fashion students, and with the multimedia students in particular in terms of making kind of promo videos and model videos and so on. And we sort of learn a lot from each other, because fashion knitwear students these days are designing patterns in software like Adobe Illustrator, and actually they have a machine called Shima that can actually basically print those patterns. In other words, it knits the patterns that they design. Yeah, it's fascinating. And they have started to use an awful lot of like laser cutting. So they're actually designing things and cutting them out of plastic to make accessories and other things to go with the clothing and sort of collections that they use. So we do a certain amount of cross collaboration with the art schools specifically. We have an interesting project at the moment because we have a partner in Bradley University in the US, and we have some of our students here and some of their students have taken a Out My Window project.
I spoke to them last week about that. Yeah, Marie.
Yeah, we're kind of cross collaborating. It's great. It's good to do these kind of collaborations every so often.
It's a brilliant idea. Yeah.
But also like the kind of rebranding of the campus as the Clonmel Digital Campus sort of makes sense within the art school, because it's its own identity, but it's still part of the broader Limerick School of Art and Design, part of LIT.
No, I think it's good for the place to have its own identity. So the branding of the place, would you start to see that taking root now?
The rebranding of here, I think it has just taken a long time to sort of get it mentally organised, really. The whole idea first that we became part of LIT, then we became part of the art school, and then you're sort of saying it's Limerick School of Art and Design in Clonmel. It's just a little bit awkward. So it's, I think, kind of rebranding it as Clonmel Digital Campus, which is a part of the Limerick School of Art and Design. which is all a part of LIT, is slightly easier to focus on. And you don't get asked the questions of, well, is this course in Limerick or Clonmel, or you know what I mean? We're actually, if it's in the Clonmel Digital Campus, it's a good chance it's in Clonmel. So it's a little bit clearer. And actually we had open days this week, and that actually seems to be coming back as people find it clearer. So it's a complete branding done. We even have a branding site with.
It'll be the first point of call.
Yeah.
So it has its own website now, is it?
Its own website is done, but LIT's whole web presence has been changed, so it'll be launched with that basically.
Oh, right, okay.
So we do have our own site, we have our own motion graphics, we have our own logo, we have our own.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Very
and so Paper Panther, just briefly.
Yeah, like Paper Panther, a small Dublin-based studio, and there's a couple of guys there. They've directed like award-winning short films like The Bird and the Whale, which is like painted in oil.
Oh my God, they're amazing. Just thought they're really
beautiful
really
stuff,
yeah.
But they've also they made work for T.G. Cahir and all different styles. A lot of traditional skills mixed a little bit with digital.
I saw a bit of them with glass plates and things like that,
and it's just they use a lot of they do a lot of workshops, and they do things like cut out and sand animation and stop motion, very kind of traditional things, but it's because it's very immediate. The issue with digital tools is that it takes time to learn them, which is why we have a degree in it, because it takes time to learn how to use. It's a slightly distancing thing. Everybody knows how to draw. Everybody knows how to cut pieces of paper and move them around. So you can create animation using a camera. You know what I mean? Without the same barriers. And I think they're very involved in education, animations or education, which I think is great, as well as being an animation company, and as well as producing short films, which is a way of kind of drawing attention as well. So a fascinating bunch. They also have their own kind of sound studio up in Dublin, A4 Sounds, and they put different events on in there, and they do exhibitions and like really life drawing. You know what I mean? So they actually kind of.
It's a nice spread across the disciplines, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's kind of a collective.
It's nice to see that kind of thing.
And they work for some of the other companies as well, some of the staff.
It's like they're using the technology bits just for what suits them.
Which is the best way. You shouldn't be led by technology.
No.
You should use what suits you, so what works for you, which is the most important thing, to make something that's interesting.
So the career day that's on as part of the Design Clonmel is aimed at specifically 5th years and 6th years, transition years.
Transition year, 5th year and 6th year.
And is there going to be loads of demos, and place will be full that day?
It will be full, yeah. So we have some past graduates coming back who are working in sort of diverse fields. We have people from Story Toys, we have a visual effects artist coming to talk for the first time. So, kind of people who are animators, yet people that are working on very specific, parts of VR or visual effects, in terms of one of our past graduates from animation who sort of veered towards visual effects and ended up literally working on her two favourite things, a Marvel movie and Game of Thrones, within a couple of months of graduating, which is amazing. But a lot of that is also due to the skill nets, doing kind of traineeships to let people
there's a skill net for animation now specifically, isn't there?
Actually, the original skill net, or the original
is the animation one.
Was the animation one.
Okay,
it was the, what do they call it, the bridge program it was called, which was the original sort of bridging thing to get someone into a career. And that model was actually copied for the skill nets by the government in every other field. So that was actually the first one. Within that, it's even started because first it was an animation skill net kind of thing, then it became animation and games, and then it became animation, games, and VFX. And you take a visual effects company like Screen Scene in Dublin, they've actually started their own one that's kind of specific with the skill nets, because they're like, we need very specialised people, so specialised training.
The opportunities in these areas, they're just becoming more and more, aren't they?
It seems like it, Employment in the sort of in the areas have gone up nationally overall. It's been a while since someone has done a proper survey.
It would be very interesting to see now. It just seems to have completely exploded.
The last
Even in
one is
Kilkenny, there's expansion down there.
Lighthouse Studios is,
and they've opened a gallery, which is a lovely idea.
Yeah, great idea. But there's so much work to show. That it makes sense for them. I think they really feel, particularly in Kilkenny with Cartoon Saloon and its sister studio, Lighthouse Studios, they really feel they want to get back to the city. You know what I mean? To an extent. And the young Irish filmmakers are based in Kilkenny as well. And like Cartoon Saloon would have, some of the founding members would have been in the young Irish filmmakers. And they really see the connections. They don't say, oh, this is live action film and this is animation. They're separate. They're all in the same industry
So,
generally.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
They all come under the film boards and the skill nets. You know, so it's great to be sort of part of that and bring education, kind of connect them together. So
But it's definitely developing its own personality. I mean,
it is, but I think in the last couple of years that's really become very pronounced. I notice it more and more every year.
Yeah, every time I walk in the door, it's like, ooh,
Weird
something else
things
is-
start,
Yeah.
things start happening. Like,
It's looking. But even all those notes on the wall and everything, it is. It's
well, that's
quite,
become a kind of an ongoing joke.
All right.
Where people put up images because they'd noticed that I was photographing them. So yeah, but that's great. That's
all
the kind
part
of
the
interplay
fun,
you
isn't
want
it?
to see.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's exactly
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Better let you go to your class.
You might,
Thanks
but-
for your input. And thanks to Michael Kiely for his time in talking to me for these Design Clonmel podcasts.